The Covert Standard.
Shit, yeah. 3%ers right here.
You see, you just gotta elevate your lifestyle. Shit, I don't like asking for directions. I do love ass and titties, though, all day long. Hell yeah, ladies and motherfucking gentlemen.
There you go.
You like
Good
that?
job.
That was the
Good
intro
job.
right there
Yep.
for you. I did that for Chase.
Thank you.
You're tuning into the Covert Standard. I am the Nitro Panda. I'm here with Bad Karma Live. I'm also
Nice.
here with DHuck_. I hate that so much. And of course,
Best
we
name
have
ever.
our special guest back again, RP. What is up, RP?
What's up?
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and get started into these sponsors of ours because I've got a lot to talk about today.
Weird.
Or we have a lot to.
You talking a lot.
We
Weird.
talk about a lot of things. What do you mean? That's weird.
You talk all the time.
So
So
is that a
you
problem?
should
I
let
keep-
D talk because he goes very.
D, go.
Oh, I'm talking.
See? Ready for
Okay,
it.
we're ready for you. I'm
Ready
just gonna
for
start
it.
queuing people. I'm just gonna point at you and just shut up. It's make you talk.
I'll do that
on the
That ain't-
mic. I'll
that
just
ain't
be
a
like,
problem.
I was trying to ignore phone calls.
All
over
right,
here.
so Cabal USA have the right gear. All right, next. All right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you guys know
if you
the
got
top
a Glock,
sponsor.
if you got a Glock, a 365 or a 320, and you want a good holster, go check it out.
Look at that. You guys.
We
are-
already
you guys
got it.
are
Next.
good.
If you want your dog to be nice and big and have stinky farts, Diamond.
They're not paying me. We're not talking about that.
All
Scratch
right, that was good too. Yeah.
Okay, so on top of the show, you got CabalUSA.co, ladies and gentlemen. You hear me talk about them all the time. If you need something to holster your Glock, not your cock, holster your Glock, go
I mean,
ahead.
he could probably make that too.
He could probably make a cock holster.
Just throwing that out there.
If you need to holster your
One size
Glock-
fits all.
No, we have different
There's
sizes.
the shower and grower package.
There's the
Which one?
subcompact, the compact, the full size.
But
and then,
what if you're a shower and you have it holstered and you start?
Well, then you're just going to be confined. You're going to be confined.
That's
to
going to be a
small-
shitty fucking day. Is what that's going to be.
It's all about the design.
It is.
Oh,
it is. And
Jesus.
if anybody can make the design, it is definitely Dave Cabal over there at Cabal USA. He has got the top of the line swag, the right gear. Go check him out at CabalUSA.co and use the promo code Covert Standard to get 15% off. And you can go ahead and buy all types of stuff, man. He's got coffee mugs. He's got t-shirts, hats. I bought a hat from him recently.
What's it say on there?
Memento Mori.
Oh, like my tattoo? Oh,
Like
that's
your
cool.
tattoo,
Oh,
yeah. I wonder where you got the idea
Weird,
from.
Wonder.
Weird. So yeah, go ahead and check them out and make sure you get that 15% off just for listening to us, guys. The other one. The other one. Go.
No, I would like to say that our Cabal intro, D&I's Cabal, was much better than yours.
It's better?
Yeah, because it was
Why?
to the point. They want to hear us talk, not you throwing out all these our awesome sponsors. But they want
So
something
I
different.
view
That's what it was.
marketing.
Thank you.
EYE marketing.
EYE marketing. I view marketing, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. So I view marketing, Miguel over there.
That's what it is.
One-stop shop for print management services. Go ahead and check them out at iviewmarketing.com. Now, without further ado, the last episode I was trying to figure out if it was further to do or further ado. And I could tell that there was a lot of episodes I would say that, and I said further to do a few times. So I feel really
Further.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, I'm working on my my.
Sometimes
grammar.
I'm surprised that I get paid to talk.
I'm surprised that this is the industry I decided to go into because my grammar is not necessarily the right thing. As I'm speaking, I'm saying your, but really I meant your with the apostrophe RE, and I'm just saying it the other way, even though it's not spelling.
The pizza. Pizza in the beer.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, yeah, we got lots to. Who might die?
You're going to need that fucking stethoscope here in a minute.
Yes, we're gonna try to. we gotta hear it.
RP was telling me about that. He hurt his rib jujitsu.
Yeah, it's grappling and pop a couple ribs.
Oy.
Separated my cartilage. So, sucks.
How do you patch that up?
You don't.
You just wait,
You just
right?
wait.
Duct tape.
Yeah.
Duct
Duct tape will work.
You just
But,
kind of strict
Would
your
you
breathing.
would you just take duct tape and wrap it around the entire
I'd
chest?
wrap it around you.
Of course you would. What is this fantasy you have? Of
There's
me
no
right now?
fantasy going on.
No,
It's for reals.
just like the stethoscope.
That's for reals.
Yeah. I was rolling the other day, and I don't know. I'm getting pains in my back, but my mind doesn't register pain. My mind registers keep fucking going. Yeah. Until I woke up this morning and I could barely get up. It was awesome.
Yeah, rolling, man. You'll find muscles you never felt like you never had before.
Dude, that's the reason why I joined the school. simply because of that. I went to 2 other places, right? I'm not going to name them. I went to 2 other places, tried them out. It was good. It was okay. I went to this place, right? I can give him a shout out on here.
Of course.
Yeah, so Fabin Rosa or Fabin.
Yeah.
So Fabin Rosa Brazilian Jiu Jitsu.
Happening.
Fabian?
So
Fabian. Yeah, Fabian.
Fabian.
Yeah, look, I don't even go to school. I know how to pronounce it. Go ahead.
So I joined his school, and the first day, right, they set me up with a purple belt, and we were doing some rolling moves. Yeah, we did. Why? Because I'm trying to relate to.
No, let's go to the fucking
RP.
combo we were going to talk about.
What combo is that, Chase?
I don't know. Let's
He's
hear
so
it.
abrasive.
RP, that's what we're doing.
I'm not sure. Well, what do you guys were?
I think you were talking about, something that kind of been eating away at you of like what line is crossed to the point to where you feel like
That one.
Everybody
The
brace
government's
yourself,
coming
ladies
after
and
you.
gentlemen. This is the episode that we've been meaning to get back to. We are going to discuss it right now. And we left a cliffhanger on this. And if you guys remember, the cliffhanger was this. And we won't have to start with this question. We can move on to something else. But the cliffhanger was this. What happens when they're coming to take your guns? What do you do? What happens if, for whatever reason, these crazy maniacs decide to go through and actually pass their laws that don't do anything for anybody except for limit the law-abiding citizen? What are you going to do when it comes time and they knock on your door and said, "Give me your gun"? And if you guys remember, the ones of you diehard listeners out there, we could not release the other episode because we were so passionate into this conversation and really drunk that it was
it was more drunk than passionate.
Yeah.
it was unairable. So now that we are semi sober right now, I believe that right now would be a good time to discuss this topic. RP went ahead and brought it up to us, and I like this. So let's just say we'll start off with this, right? Legislation passes, right? And they add on more laws. Do you agree or disagree with what's going on, and what would make you agree with it?
I mean, it all depends on what the legislation is. I probably would disagree with it, but I'd probably comply to the best of my ability. Me, like, personally, having violence against the state is something it's hard for me to conceptualize. I don't find myself seeing my local law enforcement as the enemy. Even if it was like, the National Guard getting called in to come take my guns. I don't see myself as being the guy that's like, "Fuck you, you're not gonna take my guns," and shooting back at him.
I love how everybody's got a voice.
Was that South Park? Or
that was South Park right there.
It would probably be more of passive resisting, like trying to hide some firearms. And
here's this high point. That's all I have.
Right.
Take it away.
Well, RP knows all about High Point, don't you?
Yo. Type easy, baby.
So, like, it's one of those things to where, like, you can just talk about endless scenarios. But it would, I think that's something we've touched on a lot here, is that we're all pretty big on patriotism. Like, we have, I fucking love America, and I love Americans. It would take quite a bit for me to feel like I got to take up arms against Americans, even if they decide they're going to pass legislation, especially saying that I don't have the right to own a firearm. That's the best case scenario in my mind. The worst case would be some kind of weird, like coup of we don't need to change the Second Amendment.
Coup?
A coup.
Cuckoo.
Change a coup.
I like that. That's what I heard. Cuckoo, and it threw me off a little bit. Coco.
No.
Yes.
Legend of Zelda.
Breaking. Is that Zelda?
Cuckoo. The fucking bird.
Final Fantasy, right?
No. Oh yeah, they got it from there, and then it's in Zelda, and they changed it. Yeah, no, Cuckoo.
Okay,
yeah, sorry.
Right.
You were saying.
Here, I love how we go on these like small, tiny tangents of like where did it come from?
I mean, that's where I'm at. Is that like it would have to be some weird, extreme, like Hitler taking over kind of deal to where he's harming. Like Americans have to be getting murdered by the state for me to take up arms against the state.
That's kind of where I'm at too. You have to get to that stage where it's literally the government going through and massacring people. I'm not saying. Listen, first of all, let me just go ahead and start off this conversation by saying this is not realism. This is just us discussing different points because I don't
Obvious
want anybody
hypothetical that could change.
Yes,
given
and it
details.
can be anyway. But let's just say what a lot of people are fearful of is massacre, right? The government coming through and just taking over your lives.
RP.
Go ahead. I need to catch my thoughts.
Okay, so basically, on my standpoint is exactly that. Okay, they're going to keep trying to pass laws and legislations. Democracy works, our republic works, and I believe in the due process system. I really believe being judged by your peers. I really believe that our system works. I do not want a communism or socialistic state put in place because they don't work. It's been proven time and time again with all these other nations and stuff like that. I do not want it. We have a good way. However, we have developed along the years a way to have it separated for some reason. Instead of everybody trying to collectively agree on a simple topic anymore, like the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, they want to have their own opposing opinions to it.
Those are things.
One of them.
Those are big things.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So instead of having everybody agreeing on that, they have opposing views on it now. They want to say that they're all for the Constitution, but they so want to change it. They're all, there's a side out there that's like, oh, I'm all for the Bill of Rights, but I want to change things about the Bill of Rights. You don't understand where
I believe in freedom of speech, but I also think hate speech laws need to be enacted.
See, like that's literally what it is.
Yeah, and it's like they're not thinking through very well.
It's you don't believe in our rights. You believe in the rights as long as it pertains to you. That's literally what it is. So it's like, you can have free speech, but I don't want you to talk about me. You can have free speech, but you can't. Like, what happened
or what they consider like a privileged class.
Yeah.
Which
they think they're better than us or I.
The concept of the soft bigotry of low expectations of like people thinking that there are other people that are really below them if you break down and analyze their perspectives, but they're saying it's coming from a point of compassion. Does that make sense? Of like,
yeah, sure.
Oh,
yes.
These poor people can't take care of themselves. We need to protect them for you.
Care of them.
Yeah.
And the realistic approach is basically this: we have our rights, we have our Constitution. The Federalist Papers. I haven't finished it, but I've been getting into it, and it's like it's amazing. On the thought process, 200 years ago is almost exactly the same as it needs to be now, and we're fighting against that exact problem that they had back then, what they were fighting for, and it's simply this: if everything's been working, why change it? Like why fix something that isn't broken? It's like every time new people get into the government, they all want to change something because they want their fucking names in a law book or something.
Yep.
They like, why can't you just leave it alone? Why does it not work? Is it not working right now? And if it isn't working, what are we changing? They're changing the wrong thing. They're not focused on what needs to be changed. Try asking a politician, not all of them. Try asking a politician to give up their way of getting fucking billions of dollars for being in our government. Try telling them, how about we just cut this off? That greed will take over.
I don't want to jump into those weeds, but I will say that generally the good politicians are the ones that aren't there for their career. Generally, the good politicians, unfortunately, are there for 5 to 10 years, and they say, okay, I'm going to go be a fucking regular person now. I'm going to go work it out in the free market. I'm going to go make my own money. I did my service to the government, and then I'm done. Trey Gowdy comes to mind.
Sure.
He's gone. He's not going to go back into the Congress anymore. He's done with it. And it's not because he's giving up. It's just, he's not a career politician. That's not what he's done what he feels like he can do, and he's going to move on. There are a lot of good politicians out there like that. Before we move off too much, do you think you have anything to add to that, RP?
I have a lot to say about that. But
just open up. Don't be guarded.
Let's hear it.
I feel like that there's a bigger agenda going on when it comes to politics and politicians.
Mm-hmm.
That those that have the most say and most power have connections to higher powers, that they help carry out some certain legislations and certain agendas for a future plan.
So you think there's another voice besides the government?
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, to me, I see the government as a puppet.
There's a lot of theories about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of theories about that. And just seeing how things are going now in our country, I love America, man. And the way things are going now, sooner or later, we won't have any freedom.
Yeah.
Honestly, like once the Second Amendment goes, there goes the Constitution. I'm telling you, like religion, and that's the huge thing in America. Everyone, respects each other's religion.
They take it for granted, really.
I'm Seventh-day Adventist. I'm a Christian, and for our prophecy and our beliefs goes down to the towards the end of the world. I don't know how much you guys know about our
sect of
beliefs,
Christianity.
yeah, but to a point where the papacy is going to control the world, New World Order and all that stuff. But, that's a whole different topic. But I feel like that agenda is the main goal. So politicians are put there to help further that agenda. So in the end of the day, I believe that all our freedom will be taken away. Period.
If we don't actively fight for it. And fight doesn't mean violence.
No, this is also not the first time in world history that this has ever happened.
Of course. But I was thinking about it earlier when you were talking, like the number one thing I would do if they were coming after our guns is this right here, what we're doing now,
being active,
it's actively talking about. But I would say that it seems to me when I try to look back at history and American history and what's going on with like a low resolution perspective, I feel like power wants to consolidate.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of the Constitution, was to attempt to prevent that. And in spite of the Constitution, it's still consolidated. All of a sudden, the federal government is this really powerful thing when it's not supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And that applies to politicians. A lot of it is not necessarily thinking I need to take freedoms away, but they want to consolidate power, and that's kind of a result of it. And that aspect of it, it can be applied to quite a bit of things, and there's a lot of negative outcomes that are attached to that.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Like, we really don't want to talk about this so we want to talk about this, but we don't want to talk about it because it's like, why should we? We need to enjoy our lives. We want to not be stressed out about it. Mm-hmm. We want to be able to live our freedoms because that's what our country is all about. And but unfortunately, if you stop talking about it, the other side's going to talk about it on their own agenda. And it's like, it's why. You start questioning why. It's because, like you said, power. And it's a scary thought when you start talking about real shit. You're right. This is the number one thing you need to do, is create a voice. You need to stand up and you need to make sure that everybody's on the same page and understand what's going on. Get the right information. I feel like media is so like wishy-washy right now. It's so hard to. Who do you believe? Can you trust the journalism?
There's a lot of things that like. So I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast on Twitter, and the Tim Pool second episode they did, talking about certain people that have been taken off the platform, mostly conservative, their whole thing going into that. And they were talking about a guy named Gavin McInnes. And I know this dude to be...
Oh, I remember Gavin. You showed me some things on Gavin before.
I know him to be a contrarian. Like he's like a punk rocker, comedian, conservative kind of guy. So he'll say some crazy shit just because he thinks it's funny. So, of course, I fucking enjoy the shit out of that. But he'd started this group called the Proud Boys, and it was a Western chauvinist organization. So a lot of people tried to turn that into, oh, well, that means that they're white supremacists. They're not, don't really, I mean, at least what I have seen them say about themselves and the leaders of their organizations saying, no, we don't give a fuck about what your skin color is. We just give a fuck whether you think individual freedom is important or not. We think the Western civilization is the best idea so far for civilization. We think, well, the West is better than everybody else. And they were talking, even Tim Pool and Joe Rogan, that were trying to make these arguments for the conservatives, were like, kind of just took it on face value that he said some off-the-wall crazy shit and that his organization is turned into a white supremacist organization. And that very well could be true, but like it's gotten to the point to where I literally don't trust any of the media outlets, that I've just watched them make false reporting after false reporting on different things I do know about.
Yeah.
That I'm reluctant to be like, oh yeah, I believe you on this one.
Oh yeah.
Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
Well, how do you feel, Chase, about, let's just say, they're coming after, I try not
Chase
to say
Chase is too busy just fucking bitches. He's like, I've just had my 8th kid. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
So okay, let's take it. Let's dummy it down a little bit, right? This is the best way for me to talk about the subject. Let's take away and not talk about the Second Amendment. Let's choose another amendment, right? My other favorite one that I like to talk about,
4th.
The 8th Amendment is what I love to talk about. The 8th Amendment it protects you from
the 5th. I plead the 5th. Okay, sorry,
it protects you from what is it called?
Go ahead.
Oh, damn, I just drew a blank.
Good.
Oh,
Yeah, the 8th Amendment protects you from being tortured basically by the government.
Cruel and unusual punishment.
So let's talk about that one. Okay, let's not talk about the Second Amendment. Let's talk about, okay, they want to change the Eighth. They feel like they need to go ahead and just, subjugate you to cruel and unusual punishment. What would you do, Chase?
What cruel and unusual,
I honestly feel like most Americans would let that bitch slide, because I feel like the Fourth Amendment has been eroded significantly.
There's a lot that haven't changed. There's
everybody's just like, it gives me more security. So
look at the Patriot Act.
Yeah.
There's pretty much a lot of acts that has been released that pretty much takes away your Constitution. People don't realize that.
I mean, the Supreme Court said that if an officer feels like you're possibly destroying evidence inside the house that they don't have a warrant to, they can break in to find out. Like that.
In other words, they can come in anytime they feel like.
I love my law enforcement, and I want to give them tools to be successful. But at the same time, when you give the ability to encroach that way, for one, they're going to want to take advantage of it when they feel like it's right, and two, I feel like that makes people more resentful of law enforcement, which is what. Like, it fuels the fire that's already burning in this nation of being anti-cop.
Well, that's the media, too, helping that out.
The media is a bunch of pieces of shit. I will be the first to condemn what I see as very leftist behavior, not liberal, leftist behavior of the idea that America is terrible and that racists or cops are all racist, and that's, they can impugn the motives because these journalists somehow have the power to read minds, so they can just tell you what's in fucking officers' hearts. There's a lot of downside to that. But, the more cops are encroaching on people's lives, the more people are going to be resentful of cops. Same thing with, red light cams.
God, I hate those.
Everybody fucking hates those.
I hate that. Did you know that there was I don't know if it actually passed here in Florida or whatever not, but they're saying that because they cannot represent themselves in court, or they will not represent themselves in court, it should be unconstitutional.
Well, you can't, because you can prove that the vehicle did something, but you can't prove the individual did it.
Correct.
That's
issue. One, but two, it's like a company in New York that owns our cameras.
Right, and also,
did we ever think about that? Somebody else is getting fucking money.
Yeah, it's a private industry.
The money's not even going back to the state,
and then the state enforces it.
That's stupid.
Yeah, but the other side of that coin is they cause more accidents.
They do, but then you get more money for the fucking municipality.
Tax collection.
Yep.
Money. It's all about the money, man.
That's my biggest frustration with using law enforcement as tax collectors.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's a big part of
I feel like most officers agree with that. Yep. It kind of depends on what department they're in. FHP seems to be cool with it, but
they have nothing better to do. I don't know why it's not a thing.
But I mean, you're bringing up fucking valid points. What about you, RP?
That's like back in the day, police officers used to be actually genuinely out there to help people.
Community service,
for the community, keeping everybody safe. But now it's become more of a business. It's all about getting that money in there to support the state, support the federal government, or whatever else they want to fund.
If I can defend law enforcement in some aspects, although totally back you up on others, it depends on the department.
Yeah.
That's kind of something that I found in education of, whether it's a police department.
Size of the department, too. Definitely helps.
True, but police department versus sheriff's office, because your police department is not really politically accountable the same way as sheriff's office is.
Sure.
The sheriff is elected in, the police department is basically beckoned to the mayor.
To the mayor, yep.
So there's a lot more bullshit that goes along with PDs versus sheriffs, I feel like, but that's my personal opinion. But at the same time, they're getting their money based off of federal grants, and the federal government kind of basically is able to conduct what they want to see from law enforcement based on money. It's the same thing that they do with education, where they're fucking with shit with money.
Yeah.
They don't force anybody to do it, but if you want this free money, you better make these kind of arrests.
Dude, I've watched lately. There's a lot of videos being posted. It's all been made public of a lot of sheriffs that are joining our fight. for the Second Amendment. Literally,
cool.
literally sheriff standing up.
Always been a thing.
Literally, sheriff standing up saying, we're not going to enforce. Literally telling their people, too. By the way, if you're part of our community, I know this law is being dropped. We can't do anything about the law, but we are not going to enforce the law. And I'm telling you right now. But here's the thing, though. They're elected.
Yeah.
Once they're gone, somebody else can come in with a different agenda. And it's just a matter of time. We can stop it temporarily.
Everybody moved to Kansas. Kansas is so badass. So, I'm from Kansas. They fucking don't have NFA laws there. I mean, obviously there's federal law there, but they passed state law saying that they don't enforce NFA. So suppressors and SBRs, they're like, yeah, that's the FBI can come in and deal with that shit.
So technically, I can just show up at a gun shop and buy a suppressor. And
there's a case that's possibly going to the Supreme Court based off of that. Actually,
Kansas, I'm coming. I'm coming.
We're moving over to Kansas.
I'm moving, man. Sell my house. Anyone want a house? I'm selling one.
By the way, Covert Standard is moving over to Kansas now. The home base is going to be based out of here. I don't believe this is Kansas anymore. I believe is the catchphrase to that.
I don't know of many, or if any, law enforcement wants to take the guns away from the people.
I don't know either, and I know a lot of people.
I haven't met them.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I would say that there are plenty of politicians that are also police officers that are very anti-gun.
Politicians that are fucking out for a particular thing. Yes, cops, like the legit cops.
Yeah, by legit cops, do you just mean lower ranking?
I was about to say
the majority.
I was going to say, what's a legit cop and
I feel like you're talking about like the majority of police officers.
The guys that would be coming to fucking take your guns. Not the fucking higher-ups that are fucking fancy and got fucking bars on them. They're not.
What are you going to do? Here's the thing.
Absolutely not.
When you stand up.
Do you think that they're willing to be fired for not doing it?
I was just about to bring that up. To stand up, you stand together. When you stand together, you can fight back. What are they going to do when they say, I want you to enforce this, and every single person says, fuck you, I'm not doing it? What are they going to do?
Social compliance is fucking real. Like, Nazis
I know
happened. Like,
I'm so scared of that from happening.
Not everybody in Germany in the 1930s was evil. Like, social pressure makes you do fucking evil shit sometimes. So that's a real question of like, they're not gun grabbers, but if it's, hey, you don't get to feed your kids anymore, or you go execute this warrant, if it's phrased in the right way, they have a really good way of justifying things in their head.
That's why the voice is important.
Yeah. Good thing we're doing good on this podcast then.
Since we're going down this route, I'm going to push it a little bit. Okay. Hypothetically speaking, if we were to have start an all-out civil war,
I honestly don't know what it would look like.
Which side would you be in?
That's the problem. Is that what does a side look like in 2019?
Are you going to be willing to actually fight?
Again, no. I mean, not unless we're talking about like
who am I fighting for?
Internment camps. Are people getting murdered in the streets? Like that's the kind of stuff. Like there has to be such an egregious injustice that I'd have to feel obligated to do something.
That's the best
Otherwise,
answer right there.
I cannot commit violence to American citizens.
Hypothetically speaking, if the government all of a sudden just has this total how you say it? Totalitarian? Yeah, type of a mentality, dictatorship, and literally just going out killing everybody that opposes the government.
Like dissolves the Constitution kind of deal?
Yeah, pretty much like that, and all out control.
It's hard to speak on that on something that isn't reality yet.
I know. Hypothetically speaking.
And if we're going to hypotheticals, hypothetically, like it's hard to just say what you're going to do simply because of this. We don't know what the circumstances are. We don't know who the enemy really is. We don't know what's really being done, and we don't know what age we are at this point either. If it were to happen right now and they say they want to come over, will I start the Civil War? Probably not. There's so many people that are just like us.
Yeah.
That are probably have a bigger voice, or that are higher up level in the government already, or that are already a part of us.
What if we're invaded?
That's another one.
Oh, that's a good thing.
It's an easier one.
That's an easy one. That's what I'm saying.
If we're
fighting against
I'm shooting faces. Like period. Let's just put it that way.
Thank you.
I'm defending.
I'm glad we can get something right.
Yeah, because you're fighting against an external force. That's easy.
Correct.
It's plain and simple. Someone comes in your house, you're going to shoot them.
How do you fight Americans?
Exactly.
Let me just tell you this. Different. I am an oath keeper. Period. I have made an oath, and I will keep that till I die.
To the Constitution or?
To the Constitution.
Gotcha.
To protect it against foreign and domestic.
Just domestic.
Period. That's it. I made this fucking oath to my fucking country. I made this oath to my people, and I will keep that oath.
So where does the line draw between...
I'm protecting the Constitution.
Okay.
There's my line.
That's when we originally asked this question on that podcast, it was so fucking unusable. That was the first question I asked of, like, do they dissolve it through we just throw out the laws that exist, or do they have a majority? Is it something that, like an intellectual argument that I legitimately lost, to where they have the majority to change and amend the Second Amendment and repeal the Second Amendment? If that happens on a legal basis, it's real hard for me to sit there and try to say that, oh, I better take up arms against the state. You know, like it's impossible. Well, I struggle to see how I could possibly take up arms against American citizens on that basis.
Yeah, but you know, there was a study, and I don't know the statistics, so I'm not going to give anybody the numbers, but there was a study done where they went to different bases, different branches of service, and they asked the question, and this happened also back in the 80s. If you were told to turn on your own people, would you? Like, that was a legitimate question, and they had surveys, and the numbers are increasing to being yes. I don't know what the numbers are, but I knew that back in the 80s.
Well, it makes sense.
It
honestly,
wasn't like that.
I mean,
there's so much controversy right now, especially on the mainstream media. And the amount of people that listen to mainstream media is probably brainwashed.
It just takes generations.
Well, the sense of community is dropping away, I feel like. The ideas that nationalism is a bad thing is growing more and more popular.
Patriotism is not there anymore.
I sent you guys
talking about that. Did you see the video where that lady started saying the Pledge of Allegiance in front of a bunch of liberals?
No, I didn't.
And they literally started screaming at her.
Yeah,
for saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
Of course they did. Well, like, the mindset is
that blows my mind.
I've talked about it with these guys before. So I used to be more liberal, and I certainly have a lot of liberal, and I have a few leftist friends.
He says this every podcast.
I know he does.
I'm the most liberal and the most conservative, and I have liberal friends.
Well, I try to talk to people outside of my bubble.
What was that?
The brightest light. Sorry.
The brightest light.
850 lumens.
Are we being invaded right now?
Must be our topic of choice.
I felt like somebody's about to bust through the fucking window right now. Like, yeah, it would have been a bad day. Would have real.
Sorry, I kind of forgot where I was going there.
Distracted.
Liberals. You have a bunch of liberal friends.
Why?
And you used to be.
Yeah, but it was something specific that you put out there of the mentality and the Pledge of Allegiance. You read someone like Noam Chomsky, or that's probably the best example I could give you. Noam Chomsky is an incredibly intelligent individual, but he comes at it from the perspective of, I'm only going to look at what the U.S. government has done bad because I feel like I can change the U.S. government. But when you do that, it's an unrealistic expectation of not recognizing the evils that are throughout the world. So, like, he looks at the terrorism that we sponsored against Cuba, which, I mean, if you look at it at the face value, it is pretty horrible. I mean, the CIA was funding individuals based out of Miami to go shoot up civilians in Cuban resorts because they wanted to do the Cuban government harm. I mean, that's something that America legitimately did. Yeah. Isn't it crazy? At the same time, though, before you let that there's another side of that coin, which is the horrific shit that happened in Cuba in the name of communism. I mean, lots and lots of people were scooped up. All their property was stolen. They were thrown in jail. I mean, there was all kinds of horrific injustices. Plenty of people were murdered in Cuba during the revolution. So the problem with leftists is that they don't see that second half of it. They only look at the first half of like, oh, well, America's done fucked up shit, so therefore America is evil, not taking in the actual real view of the whole world of, oh no, America sucks, but we suck way less than everybody else. I mean, America is not perfect, but it's better than anything that's ever been that I know of.
Oh yeah, I'll have to agree with that. I was born and raised in Africa, and a lot of the freedoms that we have here in the U.S. does not exist over there. And a lot of freedom, like, for example, the ability to protect yourself, the ability to free speech. It depends on where you are in Africa, but I live mostly on the west side, West Africa. So a lot of that was more controlled by drug lords, by warlords, because the government really limited everybody to what they could do. No one was allowed to own firearms. So then people took advantage of that. Warlords, drug lords,
and they take advantage of that by getting their own guns and just taking over.
Criminals don't mind to break the law.
People,
Wait, what? What? No, that's a thing. Criminals want to break the law? No way. No, but that's how a lot of these countries work. I mean, you're absolutely right. Like,
so it blows my mind though, seeing how the state we are in right now, where people are willing to give up their constitutional rights and their freedom. It literally blows my mind. Like, why do that?
An intense contradiction there that I've never been able to get anybody to work out, to where they think that guns are evil and they need to be given up, but also the cops are super racist and they're just out to murder people.
Yeah.
So who's going to protect you? It
doesn't.
So who's going to protect you?
It literally doesn't make any sense.
Well, the politicians really don't care, right?
Oh, they don't care.
Yeah, of course not. Yeah, they won't give up their guns.
I feel like the politicians
are almost security guards.
and dealing with this leftist wave that is coming at us. Like, I feel like a lot of Democrats.
You realize it's not that big either, though, right?
They don't know what to do.
They're not. Social
as big.
media pushes to make seem like it's the majority of the U.S.
They're not the majority.
I know that they're not the majority, but I will say
minority.
But they are the largest minority of leftists that's been in this country in a long, long time, maybe since the 1920s.
And I feel like a lot of them are up there in elite.
I think it's a concerted effort from educational system of pushing leftist ideals. And after a certain point, since it's been going on really pretty heavily since the 90s, that's what you get when you push a leftist ideal from literal K through 12 and then into college. I mean, a lot of these people have only heard leftist opinions or massively majority leftist opinions. And so it's not surprising to me that you'll get a huge increase in leftist opinions.
Did you see that video of the teacher shoving the Trump flag down the student's shirt?
Yeah.
An attempt to but they were told that they can do spirit. They can. It was like Spirit Week or something like that. And they're allowed to represent themselves in some way or fashion. And the teacher just walked up to that one individual and shoved the Trump flag in. Like, our country's getting to the point where I'm seeing a lot more things like this. And it's social media, like you said. They're a minority, but they're the loudest right now. And you're seeing things like that. And it's like, you know what, man? You live in this country. You have to agree to the country, period. And like things like that, they don't agree to.
Yeah, but why can't we just all agree that we have all different opinions and beliefs and morals and all that? I feel like if we get to the point where we can accept that we're different,
then we can live together.
We can live.
It's been more
pride mentality,
more and more hyperbolic of like the language. Like, I know that politics has always been nasty, and maybe it's my age that why I think this, but I feel like Bush was unpopular with left-leaning people, and they started, the Bush's stupid jokes were out there, and then, the Bush is a war criminal. Those kind of things started pumping up. Talking about the president in a very demeaning manner started becoming more and more common, and then Obama got put in, and the same thing on the other side, to where, obviously the birther movement, and a lot of comparisons to Hitler. I feel like that's always happened since Hitler. Mm-hmm. Every politician that someone doesn't like is Hitler now. But I feel like there was even more stepping up of the hyperbolic stuff against Obama on the other end. And then when Trump came in, it was just doubling down on the other side of it. It just went that much more extreme. And he's such a character. He's such a, fucking grab him by the pussy. He says some wild shit that no politician has ever said before.
That was locker room speak. We don't know if any other politician said that locker room speak.
If anybody's going to be fucking honest about that, not a single one of us has any idea what it's like to be Donald fucking Trump.
Yeah.
This was before he was a politician. This dude has been a world-famous real estate mogul that's multimillionaire that is in fucking movies and rap songs. Like, he's had a
reality TV shows.
Fucking life.
WWE.
Yeah,
he was in WWE. Yes, and he laid the SmackDown. He laid the SmackDown. Or he got SmackDown.
To sit there and judge of like, he's sexist. Like, okay, I guess. Really, you have no fucking idea what it's like to be that rich and famous, and have his kind of life. And I don't. He didn't say that as a public statement. Mm-hmm. He said that as a private conversation with someone else.
Yeah.
If you want to hate him for it, then that's fine. I don't, but
I don't either. I mean, that's like, I've said worse. By the way, just in case this comes up in the future,
I haven't,
Panda, in case this comes up 30 years from now, listen.
I'll never be a politician.
I haven't said worse, but I've also never been that fucking famous to where I have that many. Bill Burr puts it in this like beautiful way of talking about like the Braveheart, where you have just a whole army of gold digging whores just fucking running down the hill, coming to try to suck your dick so they can get that money and fame. Like
that's fucking awesome.
Yes, yeah. Like to be that kind of famous is a type of attention that almost no human knows. And, like, it's just so fucking easy to sit there and judge someone without any real frame of reference of, like, you've never had to turn down that many people trying to be that interested in you. I know Chase likes to think he has, but...
Jesus.
No. He just has a gigantic head for no reason.
Thank you.
What head are you talking about? I don't want to know.
Do you see this? You see this fucking cranium? I'm talking about that head right there.
Both.
You can see it. The sun's glistening. It's not even up right now.
Both.
Off of his fucking
1,000 lumens, bro.
All the lumens.
Yeah. No. God. There's so much. It gets so deep, and it's so hard to actually get go over every single topic that we draw out here, and it's really hard to sit here and think about what happens if they come take your guns. It's really hard to pinpoint it because you really can't say it right now. Like if they were knocking on my door right now, what are you gonna do? It depends on the situation.
Me no speak English.
But realistically, we can all agree, and this is what our family was based off of. This is what we collectively as a group were trying to come together to create this voice for the people. Listen, the Second Amendment was put in place for a reason, okay? And for that very reason, it's still the same reason why we are still strong as a country. And people want to break us apart from the inside out. And if we just keep quiet about this and being the nice people about it, it's never going to go anywhere. Now, I'm not trying to say be violent. I'm just trying to say be loud. I'm trying to say let me go ahead and voice my own opinion as well, because there's a lot of people out there that they're pushing they don't even have any backing. If you start asking them why, they just keep chanting.
Also, try not to be such an asshole.
Yeah, there's no reason to be an asshole. Just be, and if they want to keep getting loud and everything, then I understand you being quiet. But
you're gonna attract way more flies with honey. Try to be genuine and talk about the upsides to firearms,
but stand your ground on your opinion,
and people will listen. But yes, stand your ground. Don't cave for no reason.
Don't cave because they're getting loud and obnoxious.
But also don't scream your head off and just tell someone that they're fucking evil because that they have a different opinion than you.
Dude, that's all they have. Yeah. As soon as you start disagreeing with them, you are a bigot. You are a racist. You are a sexist.
Big words.
I feel like we've beaten this.
Bigot's like 5 letters.
I feel like we've beaten this down a little. I'm actually super interested in this. RP, tell us about growing up in Africa. When did you move? Like, what was that like?
Well, I was born and raised in Africa because my parents are missionaries.
That's
so
awesome.
I was born in Liberia. I pretty much lived there pretty much my whole life. Every 2-4 years, we'll move from one country to the other due to the fact that we'd get caught in the Civil War and all that.
A lot of turmoil.
Crazy.
Africa.
Crazy.
And the military coups, drug wars,
Sure.
Diamond War, Blood Diamond. I was in Sierra Leone when all that stuff was going on.
Oh wow!
So we literally had to like bribe people in order to get out of the country. And my dad dropped a whole bunch of cash in order for us to get out of that country safely.
They weren't even letting you leave.
No, it was a full-out war.
Jesus
That's why the airport was shut down,
Christ.
everything. So we had to bribe people to actually rent one of the touring helicopters, and they flew us out to a neighboring country where we flew out back here to the U.S. So it was pretty much turmoil like that. And there, they don't have people don't have the ability to protect themselves. They don't have the laws and freedom that we do here in the U.S.
Yeah.
Did you have a culture shock? Like was it a major culture shock?
It wasn't really a major culture shock due to the fact that we'll travel and visit here in the U.S. every 2 years or so.
Oh, okay. So you did visit. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll come here for the summers, hang out with the family, take time off, and then go back to the mission field and all that. So it's a whole different culture. There, it's like totally government dependent. And whatever the government says, everyone does. So, and it's to the point where a lot of corruption was going on because people in high powers would do everything just for their own self, for their own financial gain or for the power.
It's weird how that works like 100% of the time.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Once total government is there, it's always bad news. I'll say that. And that's for every single country I've been in the West. mostly in the west.
Yeah.
So if you do decide to go visit Africa, avoid the west side.
No, Africa sucks.
Yeah, that's usually most places, right? Like
there's actually a
west
few
side California. We want to avoid that.
There's a few places in Africa I'd really like to go see.
Oh yeah, if you do Kenya is nice. South Africa, of course. Avoid Cape Town though.
Yeah,
Number
Cape
one
Town
crime
is no
in the
good.
world.
I'm trying to travel more. I want to travel more.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a goal of mine right now. I definitely want to see most of Europe. Ireland has been like this is my go-to that I want to see.
Dude, we're so damn close. I've wanted to go to Ireland since I was really young, and that's really not that expensive living where we live.
Yeah, I just want to see I just want to see history, man. The castles. I want to go. I want to go to Rome to see, like when the Colosseum. I've seen it in textbooks. I've heard about it. I want to see it up close because I heard that knowing about it, knowing the knowledge about it, but actually seeing it in person is like way
whole different experience.
Different.
Yeah,
and I want to go see the pyramids, like in Egypt,
Norway,
something in Norway.
Don't forget Red Light District. Yeah.
Yes,
good place.
Every country's red light district is really what I want to. This is what I'm trying to talk about, Joe. Every country's red light district is really what I want to go see. It has nothing to do with the actual major artifacts.
Such a sucker for architecture.
Yeah. Like I want to see the pyramids just because I know that they don't do it justice. I know if I stand I know if I stand at the foot of it and look at it, that's when I'll be like, wow, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like that's when I'll really have a realization of it. When I stand in front of Easter Island.
Fucking insane of like Cleopatra was still like Cleopatra is closer to us than she was to when the pyramids were built.
Explain.
So
I'm lost.
So when Cleopatra was alive and dealing with Roman Empire,
the pyramids have already been around
the pyramids had been around for longer than us to Cleopatra's time frame. Mm-hmm. That's how long they've been around.
So between her and us is like this is not the right number, but 600 years, and then between her and the pyramids was 1,000 years.
So it's
what you're talking about.
Yep. So it's about 2,000 years difference between us and Cleopatra, and about 3,000 years between her and when the pyramids were built. That's how fucking old they are.
Aliens, bro.
Is that aliens?
It could be. They found hieroglyphics where it looked like a spaceman that they drew on.
Yeah, mushrooms existed for a long time.
There's a theory going on that back in the day, before the flood and all that men were extremely smart and they were more advanced technologically.
What happened?
They were then
they got
now.
Then we are. Washed away.
And then got washed away, and we had to restart from the bottom up.
And now we're starting to get to that point again. We're about to get washed away again. I heard those theories too.
Yeah.
There's also another theory that there's another planet that we don't know about that only circles the universe every X thousand years.
What the fuck?
And it goes on a different axis. You ever heard this theory?
Never heard of this one.
So basically they say that it actually goes on a different axis than all the other planets. It goes really far out there. And then, 10,000 years later, it starts coming back again. And they're advanced.
Yeah.
And they're based us with us. And they say that once it gets closer to the planet, then there's a time period that they come over to our planet and stuff like that, and then they look at our technology and try to advance it. That's where the pyramids came from. That was the theory that I heard too. There are so many theories out there.
Yeah,
it's kind of interesting.
I don't believe in
I
it.
don't.
I didn't say I believed in it. I just thought they're interesting just to hear.
Yeah.
See how crazy maniacs out
there.
Where
the fuck did this conversation go?
We're talking about aliens.
Fucking
we can't talk about zombies yet.
Talked about the pyramids, so we had to bring up ancient aliens.
Yeah, the meme guy, right? The fucking ancient aliens dude. Mm-hmm. Aliens, bro.
Aliens, bro.
That's Alex Jones's new thing.
That's where my head was.
He's all about the fucking aliens, bro.
How's that smell? Smell good, bro?
Interdimensional child molesters.
The whole time he's been here, the only thing he's gonna walk away and remember is the fucking dog.
Grandpa's farts are in a whole nother world.
He's like texting people about it right now. He's like, dude, I got this fucking dog sitting right next to me.
Why did I agree to this?
Anyway, topic.
Yeah.
So, end of the world. Your go-to gun.
Ooh.
Like, this is the only gun you can
leave? Am I leaving? Am I going on the road?
Not zombies, right?
No, zombies. End of the world, apocalypse, zombies.
Oh, man.
Everything's going to shit.
I hate this because nobody's going to like my gun.
One gun. Just one gun.
Nobody's going to like my gun.
Actually, let's make that two. Rifle, long gun,
Are we
pistol.
doing zombies or are we doing
end of the world?
Both.
They both.
Well, zombies is the end of the world.
We can't talk about zombies to episode 25.
No,
Stop, Jason.
But wait. Before we continue, we got
to
classify the zombies.
Okay.
No. That's episode 25.
Yeah.
Episode 25. We're not talking about zombies.
Yeah.
Okay. End of the world.
Dylan.
AR-15 with probably Glock 17. Pretty run of the mill. I mean, I think right now how my setup is, I'd probably go for the rifle length variant, 18.5 inch with the 1-6. I have a few different AR-15s, but that's probably
I have a few.
That's probably the setup currently that I'm most happy with. You know,
is it because it's the one you run most and the most reliable?
I feel like it's the most versatile. Like I have one that I like a lot. It's more of a lightweight setup, but I'm not really happy with the optic that's on there. It's a red dot, which is nice for close range. But if I have to engage anything farther out, if I have people shooting at me from 600 yards, I'd much rather have a 1-6 than a red dot.
Gotcha.
No, nobody's going to like my gun.
All right.
Okay, so end of the world gun. Rifle.
I'm assuming I have to leave my house. That's my
you have to leave your house.
Rifle. You getting ready to throw something at me? Rifle. Ruger 10/22.
Okay.
There's
plenty of.
I have a reason why.
If we were talking zombies,
I don't even have to have suppressed. Here's why: I can carry a shit ton more ammunition.
Absolutely.
And I can still kill everything on this earth.
Gun's lightweight,
and it's a lightweight gun.
Make sure you clean it though every 200 rounds or so.
Sure, you have to clean a fucking AR-15. You know,
That's
the same thing. So my Ruger 10/22 can kill almost everything on here. I can still, murder if I need to, and I can still defend myself with the Ruger 10/22. I can still put a hole into you.
Oh yeah, of course.
So I'm looking at the fact that at the end of the world, ammunition is going to be scarce. So it doesn't matter what gun you're going to bring. You got to think about all you have is what's on you, unless you can get some from other stockpiles of the people you take from, whatever. So in my mind, I'm thinking Ruger 10/22 because I can carry the most amount of ammunition on me, and I can kill small game so I can eat.
That makes sense.
And I can defend myself. That is my rifle.
And with a suppressor, that's going to be the best setup.
Once I get my suppressor, yes, I will be doing it.
Quiet
because it's going to go from pew pew to
pistol though.
Pistol's going to be Glock. The variance is really hard to decide from. I could say 17, but I don't own one, so I'm going to say 19 because I do own two of them. I would say the Glock 19, but I mean, I would actually probably do a 17 if it was to be that kind of thought process, just because. But I mean, I could put a 17 mag in my 19, so it doesn't matter. So it's 19. Yeah. I'm sticking with 19.
Chase.
HK sub gun. No,
full auto. Probably the 21 for handgun, just because I've had a shitload of time with it as of recently.
I still like Full Metal Jacket for 45.
I agree. And then probably a carbine. It's usually, I would generally say I would love to go with an AK, but then the parts compatibility, fucking the AR is where I would win. And it would not be a piston; it would be a gas gun. Because I mean, I can use all the.
Where's
oil.
Dave? Dave would argue the piston thing.
Where all the oil in the world can work for that motherfucking WD-40 for that bitch. So,
Mobile one.
That I mean, stupid shit.
RP? What about you, RP?
Oh man,
give it to me.
I'll probably do my AK underfolder on my Yugo 70 AB, and I'm running my Hullison, the one with the solar powered optic on it.
Mm-hmm. That's
that
good,
way because it's 50. 500,000. I don't know, 55,000.
Damn, I didn't know we were going to optics and stuff, man.
Damn,
hold on, rewind. Let me go back to me. No, just kidding. Go ahead.
It's an AK because it's damn reliable, man. Like you don't need to clean that sucker. You barely need to oil it. It'll still run.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it is a hefty round. And
the round's great, but it almost it kicks you in the ass of how many rounds you
that's true. Carrying it's going to suck.
Yeah, but, and then also if something happens to it.
Yeah.
Harder to service. I'm a gunsmith,
hey,
so that my mind's always.
He didn't interrupt yours.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, RP. You were saying.
RP, you were saying.
And
sir.
then for a pistol, I'll probably do a Glock 34. I don't own a Glock 34.
See,
but
you were the same thing.
You can't do fucking
34.
Guns we don't have.
Guns you don't have.
Why?
Yeah.
We got so this is how you have to play it. We're gonna play this fucking game.
If it happens now, you gotta go with it. Oh
yeah.
Shit.
Okay. The 19. I'm still good.
We're gonna do this. We're gonna play this fucking game. The gun I have right now, I'm gonna go shoot a motherfucker with that 34, and then take his shit and ditch this, and then I have a 34. Is that what we're playing?
Well, I'm not gonna tell you. We're gonna talk after this, and I'll explain to you what one of my plans are.
Gotcha.
Because anybody that wants to come to my house and think that I'm gonna protect them, you go ahead and do that. You go ahead and think that.
Yeah. This guy.
That's some shady ass shit. Going
Shut
on
up,
right
man.
now.
Yeah.
Listen, end of the world, there are no rules.
There's no rules, man.
Period. There's no rules at the end of the world.
There's still
Survive,
rules.
kill or be killed.
There is
Kill
definitely,
or be killed.
Yeah.
Yes,
there's
sir.
definitely
If
rules still involved.
if I'm not leaving my house,
You're gonna leave your house, motherfucker.
I'll keep everything.
if I'm not leaving my house and I still have to pick one gun, for a long gun, I like an 870.
Pumpkin.
Oh yes,
Oh, pump it.
yeah.
All
If
the
it,
action.
you can still, if you need to go out to try to catch food, shotgun is really versatile. Whether you're trying to get bird or deer, and then I think it's probably the best home defense gun.
Yeah.
If you're talking about only trying to defend a set perimeter, 100 yards or less, I like a shotgun.
Yeah.
Capacity sucks.
Didn't you already go?
You can't go
You
again.
can't go again. What is this? What is this, Dylan?
That's how it goes.
He's like. By the way, my long gun is a shotgun. Wait a minute. Wait, you just said
I do
AR.
what I want.
No, I said if I don't have to move, if I'm not leaving, if I can stay in my house.
Shooting.
I still like my choices. I'm still good with my choice no matter what.
Yeah, if you're bunkering down, no change.
Yeah, there's still no change because my handgun I'm really proficient on. It's close quarters. I'm good with close quarters.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm thinking about the rifle is simply because ammunition is going to run out. What the fuck are you going to do with that gun?
That's true.
You're not going to think about it like that. I can carry 1,000 rounds before you'll carry 1,000 rounds. And if you want to go ahead and say, yeah, I can carry 1,000 rounds, I can carry 2,000 rounds and still be able to fucking hunt
I
more
think
than-
there's a lot of ammo out there.
I don't think.
The idea is finding it when the time comes, because it's gonna be
Yeah.
punk to find one
Yeah.
or a
Okay.
stockpile at
Be
least.
fine.
Yeah,
That
I think
idea
it'll be all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and there's the thing. Now, do you go on the aggressive side or the defensive side? Are you trying to preserve life? There's so many ways you can go.
No,
We're not on this side.
no,
We're
we're
on
not. We're
25.
just straight. Pick one and stick with it.
That all
That's
will
it.
come. All I'm saying
The
is
real
that all
answer
will come
is
episode 25
I would
with
not.
zombies.
I would not pick a single gun. That's my real
Oh
answer.
yeah, of course.
Oh, we all know Dylan's choice. He's got a fucking katana at the house. Fucking gun. He's gonna bring that katana out and just start slicing motherfuckers apart.
You gotta be quiet.
Yeah.
The real answer is, have we practiced fucking humping? Like the long ass fucking
Like what kind of
hump-
humping?
Humping.
with all
What
the
kind of
fucking-
humping?
Well, the sex
Because,
part.
yes.
Have you been practicing that?
Oh, always.
Good for you. And then
To repopulate the earth, of course.
Yeah,
There you
that's
go.
the only way.
Yeah.
Only way.
There's that, and then
heavy
carrying
gear
some
for
heavy
long
ass shit.
distance.
You got a lot of
Not
faith,
lately.
A lot of faith in the fucking your transport working.
A lot more faith than I did 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. You fucking have a lot of faith in your vehicle working. That's what I'm saying.
I have faith in my vehicle working.
Yeah.
If the vehicle doesn't work, I'm
And
still
then,
good with
Oh,
myself.
by the way, your vehicle's working. So does everybody else.
Sure. Yeah.
So then you're going to be the bigger target. Is what I'm saying. That's why it's kind of the
Well,
practice your gear.
I think that's a whole nother conversation.
Just
Yeah,
like-
that is.
I feel like you're about to open up something that I could be like, well, fuck you, because tacos are the best. No, I'm just kidding. Or you say
pizza.
no.
Pizza.
I'm talking about Tacomas. Tacomas are the best. No, I'm just kidding. You got a fucking badass Jeep, by the way.
Yeah, but useless in the end of times because it's a soft top.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Zombie's gonna break through it.
yeah, there you go, zombies again.
Yeah, but you got a rear gunner position.
25
you do have a rear gunner
But
position.
I needed a rear gunner.
truck.
So
monkey.
that's
There you go.
See, that's why you have more than one rifle.
Yeah, you're like, hey, you get up here,
Yeah.
take this, shoot that way, go. Let's just do this. But yeah, I can't wait for the zombie episode. I'm actually kind of excited. You know what? We're talking so much about it that it's going to get to episode 25 and they'll be like, all right, so zombies.
No, bro. I got 2 hours of talking about that shit. Yeah, I got you. Got you covered.
Shoot him in the head, right?
Got you covered.
Yeah.
shoot him in the
Not
head.
even
I feel like
Surpass 22, shoot them in the head.
30 minutes going to be the discussion of what kind of zombies it is.
Yes.
Just alone,
Yes.
like what
Yes.
kind of zombies
Yes.
it is, and then another 30 minutes is what's
Yo,
your gear.
Worst zombies, I am legend, man. If this, I am legend. I'll just lay there and say like, I'm done. I'm not even gonna try.
No.
I
Just kill
beg
me.
to
Disagree.
differ. I beg to differ on that
Dawn
one.
of the Dead remake.
Oh no. I feel like I am legend. in
No,
way
you,
worse.
War
Dawn
Z.
of the Dead. They have to run. You have to shoot them in the fucking face.
World War
You
Z.
can-
Oh,
you
I'm
can
legend.
shoot-
You can. They don't
you can
come out
shoot 'em
during the day,
anywhere.
though. They
You
don't
can-
come
and
out
you can
during
shoot 'em
the
They
day.
come
anywhere.
at night. They come at
Yeah,
night.
that's true,
Stupid.
that's true.
World War Z.
World War Z.
You
yes.
can shoot them thoracic cavity.
Yeah, but they're running us so fast.
Have you guys not seen Dawn of the Dead remake?
Which,
Yeah,
I mean,
I've seen it.
which
the
one?
remake.
I haven't
The
seen
one
that
in the mall.
Zack Snyder made it where they run as fast as shit, and you can only shoot them in the fucking face.
Dawn of the Dead.
See, that's
remake?
that's
Go ahead.
I think everybody needs to watch it before
Let
we
me,
get
let me
to
hear your stupid
25.
shit.
I
if
need to
you,
watch. I'm watching it
I
tonight.
win.
you can shoot them outside of the head, and then they can't run fast as shit.
It's a good thing that, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have to tune into episode 25 for the rest of this discussion because we are not going to go into this shit right now. But listen, it has been another successful day here on the Covert Standard. I do appreciate you guys listening in. Again, I'm here with Chase from Bad Karma Live. You can follow him on his Instagram on Bad Karma Live. I've also got Dylan. You can follow him on DHuck_. That's his Instagram handle. And again, we have RP joining us on the show. You can follow him on his Instagram, the Pew Pew channel. Okay, go and give him a follow. And again, I am your host, the whore. I am your host.
It's the same thing.
I am your host, the Nitro Panda. You can find me on all social media platforms at the Nitro Panda. And of course, please give our show a follow at Covert Standard on all social media platforms as well. And then also, website will still be coming up. I know you guys are waiting patiently for it, but it should be coming up here soon. Thank you. Love you guys and appreciate it so much, so very, very much.
Peace.
Work your ass off.
Covert.